Hey guys, it's Drew again. You're watching MechaWorks, and I have the eighth wonder of the world. Should you S54 swap your E30? I mean, that's a pretty valid question, right? So let's roll the intro, and I got a little short video for you today.
Now turn up.
So, should you swap an S54 into your E30? Well, to save you a little bit of time, yes, absolutely, 100% worth it. Yeah, I know the engine bay is like really dirty and everything. This car is more of function rather than form. It's just a daily driver. I'm not really too worried about how beautiful everything is. I have a list down here, so if I'm looking down here, that's where I'm at. So I made a list of things right quick for pros and cons. First thing off the bat, should you do it? If you got the money, do it. Absolutely do it. First thing is the power. Obviously, the stock S54 makes 333 horsepower. This one probably makes 345. Let's just say that with the tune that's on there. So, absolutely, yeah, totally worth it power-wise. I have a 373 LSD with the M3 transmission, the Getrag 420G. I couldn't ask for a better setup than this. It's absolutely perfect. And I mean, you get to run around with one of the coolest M engines made. I mean, the S54 was the first engine to break 100 horsepower per liter. So that's in your E30. You know, not a whole lot of torque, but in a car this light, you're definitely gonna want the fact that it doesn't have a lot of torque to offer, but it's definitely there, especially if you're up above, 4,500 RPM. This car turns into a very, very fast car. Let's talk about a downside right quick. The cost. The cost is a lot, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. It is a lot of money to get this engine in the car. Primarily, the cost of the engine itself. I paid about $4,000 for mine. It had 130,000 miles on it. I refreshed everything in it, so the cost does add up when you refresh things. I did the rod bearings. That was like the first thing I did, just so I could sleep at night. So yeah, the actual cost of the engine can vary. Your results may vary should you choose to do this. I've seen S54s beat to hell at $2,500 for just the engine. And then I've seen really nice condition ones that could range all the way up to $8,000 or $9,000, which is a bit much. Total investment on this swap. I don't like looking at the spreadsheet because I did put everything on a spreadsheet as I bought it so I can keep up with it, and there's just shy of $13,000 into this car, but there's some custom parts involved. So but that's the car total. That's the cost of the car, cost of, as I went from each suspension to the next suspension and stuff like that. So that's total cost of the car. All in all, I'd say for the entire swap as it sits without going from, this part to this part, suspension-wise or brakes or, stuff like that, I'd probably say probably closer to $10,000, be about my guess. Everybody wants to know, is it reliable? I've only had one problem out of this engine, and that was a long time ago when the starter just wouldn't turn, and I took the whole plenum off and everything, and right before I took the starter out, I tapped it with a wrench, and it started right up. And that was it. It was just a sticky starter, and it hasn't done that to me since. Don't you dare. Don't you do it. You talk about it, and then it does it. Other than that, I haven't had any problems aside. Also from the crankcase ventilation system right here, I don't know what happened, but I had two brand new crankcase valves right there, and they both filled up with oil, and I burnt oil like crazy. I put in a catch can, which is right here with these two lines, and haven't had an issue since. So I don't know what happened there. Yeah, it's very reliable. It starts almost every time unless your battery's dead. I was having a problem with some MAF sensors, but I think I figured out the cause of that. And I was buying Bosch. I was buying them through AutoZone. Once I bought one from BMW, they stopped going out every month. So I'm not saying AutoZone has counterfeit ones. I'm not saying they do. I'm not saying they don't. Just my experience. Let's see. Is it easy to swap? Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's a straight 6. Have you ever heard 5 pounds of flour in a 1 pound sack? Well, that's the S62 over there. This is more like 2 pounds of flour in a 1 pound sack. It's tight, guys. It is tight. There is barely any room up here. I actually had to cut the water pump nut off because you're not running a mechanical fan. I'm running an electric fan, and there's like that much room up there. And it's all the way up against the firewall. So yeah, you guys, there's not going to be a whole lot of room in there. Other than that, it is very, very easy to slide in there. Oh no. One of the other big things about the S54 now is there's a lot of third-party support for it. So there's a lot, like Garagistic offers a lot of stuff. There's also there's a handful of other sites out there. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they all offer third-party support for this engine as far as swap goes, like mounts and like shifters, exhaust, stuff like that. So also, can you do this yourself? Can you do you have to take it to a shop for them to do it? Hey man, if you got the money and you could pay a shop to do it, and they're gonna make it look like all those all the ones that you see on Instagram and all these really cool YouTube videos with these really really sweet E30s, do it. Do it. Just totally do it. Just have them do it. But hey, if you want to build the car yourself, do it. That's what I did. I don't have the money to go take it to a shop and have them do it and spend, $10,000, $15,000 in labor costs alone. So I did it myself. It really wasn't that hard. I had a few friends help me. My dad helped me a lot as far as, 2 people trying to get an engine in this car. Turned out great. Were there custom parts? Yes. My transmission cross brace is custom. My front subframe is custom. My oil pan is custom, along with my shift assembly, but that was for a whole different reason. There's other shift assemblies out there that are made for this kind of swap that you can find around. But as far as custom bits go, I didn't have to have a custom drive shaft like I did on the S62 car. Other than that, it was really straightforward, kind of Frankensteining some stuff together. And that's really about it. So I'm actually, in case you were looking, I am using an E46 M3 expansion tank right here. So that was interesting engineering. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Really not a whole lot of custom parts. Arc Asylum is where I got the oil pan and the custom front subframe from. And I think his name's Tyler. They're really great dude. Cut me a deal on this. Was really awesome. So next thing on the list, the longevity. I've had this swap going for about coming up on 3 years now, which is crazy. Like I said, I had an issue with the starter, and all I had to do was tap it with a wrench. It went away. And the MAF sensor issue, which a few of my friends know about, and basically the car was eating a MAF sensor once a month, and it was really pissing me off because they're very expensive. And so I went to AutoZone, got the lifetime warranty with it. It was Bosch, genuine Bosch, but it kept eating them once a month. And then the vendor that supplies AutoZone saw that I was using a lot of them and cut me off of them. So I bought a genuine one from BMW, still Bosch, same part number, same everything, and it hasn't given me trouble since. Knock on wood. So next thing, pros and cons of the swap. The pros, as far as the engine itself in this car, the only thing that I would do to change this is to have an E30 M3. An E30 M3 would be so awesome, especially with this engine. But hey, you gotta take what you can get, right? So it's just a regular E30, and the power to weight ratio is insane. I love it. I really thought about turboing it. I really thought about supercharging it, but I got the S62 over there to be stupid. So this one, I'm just gonna keep it like it is because it's great. The balance is spot on as far as weight distribution goes. It's just a great engine as far as just how well it distributes the weight, and it's just an overall really good balance. The throttle, the pedal, out of this world. It's very fine tuning, in the turns and stuff. Whereas like a regular M20 with the throttle cable, this thing's miles ahead of an M20, obviously. It's, what, 20 years difference? So, let's see. The cons, the bad stuff. Oil can be expensive, especially if you stay with 10W60. I stay with 10W60. I don't do that 5W30 stuff or 10W30 that some of those other guys run. I just stick with 1060 from BMW with BMW oil filters. Yes, the oil changes cost a little bit, but if you know where to get the oil from, not a problem. Parts. S54 parts are a little expensive sometimes. The bearings all around the board, I think the bearings were like, with hardware, so with the bolts and everything, I think run me about $850 or something like that. So, and they're the WPC treated bearings, just like I just did in the S62. If you haven't seen this video, or both of them, there's 2 parts, go check them out. But yeah, I mean, parts can be a little expensive for this. The only other thing that I can think of as far as cons is this engine does heat soak. S54s are known for their heat soak. I don't know if you've seen a lot of guys, they run their cars on the dyno, and then, after 3 pulls, they're seeing decreases in horsepower because the car is heat soaking. So if this sits in traffic, it doesn't like traffic. After sitting for about anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes in traffic, this car becomes a little difficult to drive off the line. But once you get going, it the power starts to come back. That's really about it. But long story short, should you swap your S50 or should you swap your E30 with an S54? Hey, if you got the money for it, do it. If not, then try an M50. Try an S50 if you could find one. Don't get an S50 B30. Get the B32. Pay the good money for that. But yeah, definitely, seriously, if you can find an S54 for a decent price and you can get all the parts for the car, then totally do it. Totally worth it. So if you're watching this video, laying in bed at night, just, thinking to yourself, should I just swap an S54 in my E30? Yeah, I'm talking to you, man. I'm here with you. I had that same thought. Should I swap an S54? And I just did it. And I couldn't be happier with this car. Absolutely love it. If you guys have any questions or any concerns or anything like that, please let me know down in the comments. I'll get to you as much as I can, or as fast as I can. And I really, really appreciate all the support you guys have had for me. I mean, it means the world to me. So, guys, it's the end of the first week of the year, and I couldn't be more excited. I got big things for the S62 happening over here that you guys will see later. So, hey. I hope you guys have a good weekend. So remember to do awesome, be awesome, and stay awesome. You guys are awesome. I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend.